Imagine going from a massive rainfall deficit to devastating flash floods in just 24 hours. Or entire villages rewriting the rules of conservation while major governments backtrack on climate promises. We've got three major stories today. Flash floods wreak havoc in Jammu and Kashmir. The EU is diluting its sustainability laws. And in the Himalayas, one small community is leading the way in conservation. Well, let's dive in. I'm your host Lavanya, and this is the Climate Brief. Just a week ago, Jammu and Kashmir's Chief Minister was warning of an impending water crisis. A 61% deficit in winter precipitation had officials on edge. And the Khelo India Winter Games had to be cancelled due to insufficient snow in Gulmarg. And then boom, within 24 hours, the region was hit by a 311% increase in rainfall, causing rivers like the Suran in Poonch and the Uj in Kathua to overflow. This sudden deluge resulted in landslides that shut down the Jammu-Srinagar highway and claimed at least 4 lives. But here's the thing, Jammu and Kashmir isn't alone. Uttarakhand saw a similar weather whiplash. Winter there was almost dry, with rainfall at just 9% of the normal levels. From January 1st to February 15th, the region usually receives 75.7 millimeters of rain. Well, this year it received just 6.9 millimeters. But when the skies opened on February 27th, the state received 37.1 millimeters in just 24 hours. The sudden shift led to an avalanche in Chamoli in Uttarakhand, where 55 workers were buried under snow. This erratic shift from drought to extreme precipitation is playing out across the Himalayan region. Scientists are warning that snowfall patterns are changing too. Traditionally, heavy snow would fall in December and January. Now it's shifting to February and March. But why is this a big deal? In December, the ground is cold, so fresh snow can settle and harden. But by late February, the ground is warmer. New snow doesn't settle. It becomes loose and unstable, ready to trigger devastating avalanches. In fact, the India Meteorological Department, or the IMD, had previously warned of an increasing incidence of flash floods in the region. But there's more. This also has serious implications for glaciers. Normally, frost follows snowfall in December-January, strengthening fresh snow and allowing it to become a part of a glacier. But now, with snowfall shifting to February and March, the snow melts as soon as it falls, preventing glacier formation. This means Himalayan glaciers will likely keep shrinking in the coming years, further threatening water security in the region. This shift can be attributed to a change in the pattern of western disturbances, the weather systems responsible for winter precipitation in India. A study published in the Climate Dynamics Journal of the European Geoscience Union, or the EGU, warns that by 2050, we could see a 10 to 15% drop in their occurrence, leading to longer dry spells and more extreme bursts of rainfall. That's what happened in Chamoli, where a sudden increase in precipitation led to heavy snow accumulation on warmer ground, triggering the deadly avalanche. And in J&K, where a dry spell abruptly gave way to destructive flash floods. If these trends continue, we may see more frequent and intense flash floods, avalanches, landslides, and retreating glaciers across the fragile Himalayas. Speaking of rewriting the rules, while climate change is rewriting the rules of age-old weather patterns, the European Union is making major changes to their sustainability regulations. Last week, the European Union announced a new law package called the Simplification Omnibus. It's designed to simplify sustainability regulations, but in reality, it weakens key environmental protections. Let's break it down into 4 major changes. Change 1. Smaller companies get a free pass. Earlier, sustainability reporting applied to all companies with more than 250 employees. Now, the threshold is 1,000 employees. That means 8 out of 10 firms are off the hook. This includes local factories, textile mills, and even some mining companies. Change 2. Suppliers and subcontractors go unchecked. Small and medium-sized companies now have the right to refuse providing sustainability data if a larger company requests it for compliance. Additionally, big corporations only need to collect emissions data from their direct suppliers, ignoring subcontractors further down the chain. Imagine a car company buying wheels from a supplier who sources steel from a high-emission factory overseas. Under the old rules, the car company had to check those emissions. Now, they don't. That's like being on a diet but ignoring the calories in dessert. Change 3. Carbon tax loopholes. Importers bringing in less than 50 tons of goods annually, such as small steel traders, are now exempt from the EU's Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism or CBAM. That means 182,000 companies get a free pass on carbon taxes. Change 4. Extension in deadline to start complying. For most companies, the deadline to start adhering to the new rules will be extended by 2 years. This isn't simplification. It's essentially deregulation. 80% of a company's emissions come from their suppliers. Thus, ignoring subcontractors is turning one's gaze away from the most important part of the problem. Spain says this is reckless. On the other hand, Germany and France call it business-friendly. But environmentalists are calling it a major setback in the fight against climate change. The WWF has called it a devastating blow to EU's environmental objectives. But while policymakers argue, one small Himalayan village is showing how small innovations can help in the fight against climate change while also being good for the community. Imagine cooking every meal over an open fire, inhaling thick smoke daily. That's been the reality for thousands of villagers in remote Himalayan communities. It has also made the community highly reliant on firewood that comes from the nearby forests. But one small initiative is changing that. In Tagathang near Neora Valley National Park in the eastern Himalayas, the local Lepcha community has started using energy-efficient stoves that reduce firewood consumption by 31%. Traditionally reliant on firewood, which contributes to deforestation and health issues due to indoor air pollution, the community is now embracing improved cooking stoves or ICS. These stoves are made using locally available materials like clay and cow dung. They emit less smoke and they are more efficient. But why does this matter? See, less firewood use means less deforestation, which in turn means better protection for the wildlife, including the endangered red panda. The impact is huge. Less indoor air pollution ensures better health for the families. Less deforestation ensures more trees and a better carbon absorption. And the best part? Since these stoves are built using local materials, it makes them easy to maintain and replicate in other communities. While governments argue over climate laws, people in places like Tagathang are taking action on the ground. Small changes can lead to a big impact. Well, to summarize, climate change is everywhere. It's in Jammu's drowned fields, in Brussels' boardrooms, and in Tagathang's kitchens. And solutions? They're here too. It's just up to us to choose them. We make this show in the hope that a better informed citizenry will make better choices. So, drop your thoughts in the comments below and share this show with a friend or family member who may benefit from it. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Climate Brief and turn on notifications for more deep dives into climate news. See you next week.